but I think you know how it goes. It's like an after. Sorry, my French. It's still preparing. Come on, it's setting it up. It's taking a long time. I wonder if my
Are
VPN.
you sure that we're not live already?
It could be done. Redirecting to YouTube now.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, it looks like
Because
it's.
it says here on my end, it says that we're live.
You know how it goes. It's like an
there you
after.
go. Yes, it is.
So it's just my French. It's still preparing. Come on. Yes. No stream.
Hello, people of the internet who live in my computer.
Can you see the sweat dripping off our foreheads?
Yeah, it's bad. No, we're fine. We're
Good.
fine.
Yes, we had some technical issues, as they say.
But we solved them because we're real good
Technical
at
issues.
stuff.
Yes, exactly. We kicked it. You kicked it, babe. That was good.
Sure,
So,
fully.
so how you doing? We had to miss out a month, but we're here
I
again.
know, but we're back.
We're back
Here's,
with
wait, I have water.
chocolate, with water. Yeah, what else we've got here? It's good.
It's good.
Our picks. This is the American Book Center choice. I always like doing this because it's get a chance to talk to my colleagues and friends and stuff and see what they're into and
Yeah.
what they're reading, what's interesting, which they also, but as sellers, booksellers, what they're also interested to what they think the public, our public, will be interested in.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
that's kind of fun. So I've got a few books here in front of me. You've got a few books, or no, you don't. You
I
have
do.
two. There you go. There you go. Do you want to kick off with one?
Sure. Okay. I want to start with a recommendation from Naomi that I don't have the physical copy for, but it's called The Agency for Scandal by Laura Wood, which is a YA book set in the late 19th century, and it's about an all-female secret agency working to right the wrongs perpetrated by powerful men against women, which sounds pretty badass.
Yes.
And Naomi says you might have to suspend your disbelief at a bunch of 18-year-olds being spies and master thieves, but once you do, it's a very entertaining, well-written, and easy read. Oh, are you putting it on the screen? Yes, there it is.
Yes.
And she also says there's a great cast of female protagonists doing their very best to help other women and having fun while doing it. I hadn't heard of it before she mentioned it, and it sounds really cool. I kind of want to read it. It sounds like a lot of fun.
That's always a good thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yes, this sounds good. It looks fun. I don't know if you call it what do they call it? It's not soft reading, fuzzy reading. No, what do we call it?
Cozy?
Cozy reading. Would you? It looks like a cozy reading book. Like we talk about.
I don't know.
Being kind of cozy thing. It's nothing too horrible, and nobody gets really horribly killed, or it's not violent or anything like that. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's like a good romp, which I always like.
Indeed. Who doesn't like a good romp now and again, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Romp.
sounds fun. And I like the because I used to when I was like in my early teens, I used to watch this cartoon called Totally Spies, which is about like three American high schoolers who are like super spies and like secret, and they have like gadgets and stuff, and it's really cool. And this kind of, I mean, obviously this is very different. This is like historical fiction-y, but there's something about like kids and wanting to be a spy that is very like an evergreen sort of sentiment. So
Absolutely.
this really appeals to that.
Yeah. Yeah, when you say that, what was it called again? Because I'm going to write it down and look it up on YouTube.
Totally Spies.
Totally Spies. It sounds really like that yeah, it's under 20-year-old, like it's when you're 13 or so. Totally.
Oh, spies.
Not heard of that one, but that's good.
Yeah.
And indeed, like kind of like normal kids doing stuff which they, you want to be like Batman and put on a cape, but actually this is
and there were the Spy Kids movies, which is also about very young children like being super spies. There's just something about it. Like I always wanted to have a walkie-talkie.
Oh yeah. Did you have the thing with the can and then the piece of string? It was always like, can't hear a thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. Making go-karts.
So this very much appeals to that like inner child, I think, for me.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Kind of like the idea that also YA books are for perhaps for older people as well who like, I'm not saying reliving their youth, but just
but like nostalgic.
Yeah, you can enjoy it well. Not just for young people, but for older people doing that as well. Nice. I like that. Then let's see what we've got here. Oh, I saw Lynn in the shop today.
Mm-hmm.
Being the boss of the shop. She's been there almost since the beginning, and she is a mine of information. I mean, to have somebody like that as a boss sucks up books. You know, biggest book lover I think I know. And I said, well, what do you recommend? Knowing that she would find something, and she stood there for a minute. And she was, I said, do you need some time? I'll let you go. No. I'm just thinking. And you could see the big brain going around, and which are the big virtual.
Yeah, like the index.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yes, Ishmael from Daniel Quinn, which is not a new book. I would call this as a part of the segment where we have classics. So we have new books.
Sure.
And Ishmael is the first book that he ever wrote in the 90s, I believe it was. And he wrote 2 or 3 more, so he's not prolific kind of writer, but it's like philosophical kind of ideas. And the story is that there's this teacher who sees and signs up for a kind of as a student to join a group, and he turns up to find himself being the only one there, and the teacher is a gorilla, of all things. What? Yes, exactly. Suspension.
Okay.
It's a talking gorilla at that as well.
Of course it is.
Of course. And then the whole story is this, what the gorilla has to say and the philosophical ideas behind it. Talking of how human beings have been on this planet for so many millions of years. And only in the last, Lynn was saying, last like 100,000 years or so, or 10,000 years, sorry, that we started using up the resources on the planet. And that there was this sort of moment where the human population started creating more food, having more babies, starting the spiral of using, of which we of course now at like 2 minutes to 12, whatever they say on the clock, and we're all like, hey, we've got to stop doing what we're doing, otherwise the planet's gonna...
it's like, how do you know what Earth Overshoot Day is?
Yeah, the day that we've actually used up all the resources that we should do for a year.
Yes, and it's earlier and earlier every year.
Yeah. It was like, first of all, it was September the 13th or something, and then it's July, and apparently it's very quickly coming to...
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly where we're at, but it's getting earlier, which is bad.
But and it's like, well, that's the one way that she describes it. She says the book describes how you can see, what happened and why it happened as well.
Yeah.
But also to see in the future, or now for the future, because otherwise it looks like we're just going to completely disappear. But light at the end of the tunnel, at least as far as this book is concerned, is that we adapt. Human beings adapt, and albeit slower than we all would like. She's got a point, because these days on the news and everything like that, there is this friction, friction of people saying, hey, the planet's going to die if we don't do something, and we're all fighting against these, I don't know, non-entities of people wanting to make money about it. But we're having this discussion. It's not that nobody cares. Something is being done, and that's how things do change. So in a way I thought, okay, there's the adaptation. Humans need to adapt, and I would say, we are adapting. It's not easy, because people are not going to just go, let's stop doing this, because that doesn't work that way. But so anyway, long story short, probably I described it. Ishmael from Daniel Quinn, and that's what Lynn recommends.
Cool. A classic-ish. Kind of a classic in a way.
Is it? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like 90s, does that count as like a classic? But
I mean, you should have a classic from every decade. You should have a few.
Oh, that's fair enough. Yeah. That's a good point.
I mean, actually, the 90s is already 30 years ago. I was going to say a couple of years back, but that's already 30 years, and for me, it's like, oh yeah, shit, that is all, So yes, it's and also it's not like it's a classic like I don't know, Stephen or Tolkien, but it's like still good solid stories that
like an evergreen.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll go.
Okay, I have a double whammy from Emma V. I only have one of the books on hand. Can you see how shiny it is?
It's shiny and gold. It's very nice.
Love a shiny book. Anyway, I'm always a bit nervous to pronounce this, but I think the actual correct pronunciation is Kirke, by Madeline Miller. And Emma says, because I asked for recommendations that I could connect to Women's History Month, which is now and still for like a few more days. And Emma recommended me this one because she sort of wanted to talk about the trope of like describing strong women as witches, which is of course a very old trend, old trick.
It's actually almost, I think. Not sure what you call it.
I didn't catch the first part of that.
One would call it a myth, I would say, almost. The myth of witches, women being witches. But you say trope is another one. Are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm just yes. Anyway, so Emma says the interesting thing is the figure of the witch, something that is very much connected to strong women. Historically, this was a negative connotation, and the stories were, of course, mostly written by men who used the witch stereotype for strong, independent women who bewitched, or more accurately, outsmarted innocent men, like Kirke changing the men into swine. But then she also connects it to another book that I don't have on hand, which is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. And Emma says, I like that in modern novels, there's often a strong woman who doesn't want to depend on a man and learns witchcraft from another witch, but in a positive way. So it sort of takes that stereotype and sort of turns it on its head. And Emma says it's used as a sign of female empowerment, and women have reclaimed the label. And she also says, I think it makes a big difference that Kirke was written by a woman. And witchcraft is popular and currently connected to female emancipation and independence.
Nice.
So that's a little mini essay for you.
It sounded good to me. I vibed with it as well, and I'm thinking that is the modern reclaiming, I think, that's going on.
Yeah.
From what I see, like in the last maybe 10, 15 years, that women are standing up saying, yeah, I'm a witch. So, and seeing the positive side of it as a I think that's one way that all tribes, I want to say, all groups kind of reclaim their power by the negative words that are sometimes levied at them, be them, certain color or a certain religion or whatever, or sexuality, I suppose is another one. That you take that on and go, and
it's just words.
Yeah, that's with the word witches and what that entails.
Yeah, and I think it's about like taking control of the narrative back from, instead of people just talking about you or about your people, to be like, hey, this is who I am and this is my story, and I'm gonna tell it, and you're not involved. You can go sit down.
That's true, yeah, because I always like to get involved in stories, but indeed sometimes you have to kind of go, oh yeah, it's nothing to do with me.
Maybe it's not about me. Maybe. Yeah.
Well, and pull it back to myself. I'm a white male, so I'm usually that can be seen as the very person that puts most people down. White males are usually the top of the chain, as it were, and have profilated all these other things. So sometimes I have to remember to I don't know my place in those terms, because nothing I can say that will get over the fact that I am this, and even though one could say, well, that's unfair, blah, 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 and some people do, it's just like, yeah, but I have nothing to say about the matter, really. It's like I don't suffer from any of the abuse of being all those things, So no, nice, good one. There's good lots of things like that. I have one gag. Which one do I do now? Ooh. I think I want to do Jeroen's one, and that is this. Jeroen is our history buyer as well as being our general number one. Yeah, general. Yes. Yeah. General. The Great Disorder: National Myth and Battle for America. talking of myths, I kind of maybe wanted to talk about it being the idea of witches being a myth because of this being a myth as well. Richard Slotkin. It's a big, thick book, a big tome.
Chunky.
Yeah. And Jeroen, he got very animated talking about it, which is he's very usually quiet. So I didn't know it's good then. But he hasn't read it yet, but he just got it out. It's only this week that it came in. And it's Richard Slotkin has written some other books, of which one is called Fatal Environment. And that one Jeroen had read, excuse me. That was, this is sort of following on from his theme that the author about, which is about the mythology or how myths are used to explain, how politics uses myths to explain to the people. And myths, as Joseph Campbell said, are there to help us, kind of help us deal with and learn from our lives. Myths can also, I think, be misused, as anything can.
Of course, yeah.
To get people along with a certain narrative.
Yeah.
Politicians want that. So this book, that previous book, was about the new frontier in America, and this one is, as you might have guessed, is about the momentary. I'm talking Dutch. The current affairs of politics, of the extremism of the left and the right, the blue and the red parties.
Yeah, that's very current. Wow.
Yeah. And so, so this, and it made me, again, it was one of those books where I wouldn't normally read it, but it's made me think, oh, this sounds really rather interesting. You know, having a view of it, which is not a political based view necessarily, and it through the eyes, through another way, again, through another sort of set of glasses, and that's through mythology and how it's used and how it contains it. So I'm thinking that's really good, because then you get a perspective on the now, which is not always easy.
Yeah.
Of it, and being influenced by shit news, which is also from people who are pulling the strings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's cool. Just that.
I have to say, I'm not sure that I like the cover. I don't like that they split the word into. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
Because actually, dissing means to put someone down, of course.
I mean, I get it. Also because it's quite a long word, and otherwise they can't use the nice big fat font, but I don't love it. But that's nothing against the contents of the book. I just,
maybe not for you.
A design choice that I don't love.
Yeah, it's also matte. It's very paper. Yeah. It's got a feeling of an old. It makes me think of the American State of Independence and the way they would have signed on a apartment. So it's got that vibe about it. It's very like a history book, as it were.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't like the cover, but I like the cover. But I'd read it, but maybe you wouldn't read it. So there you go. Anyway.
Yeah. See, and that's why we do this. There's a little bit of something for everyone.
No. So what have you got there? Who else?
I have a recommendation from Simona, who wants everybody to know about The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, which is quite a serious book from the sounds of it. It's about a daughter and her parents in the 70s who, after some issues, decide to move to Alaska, as one does. A beautiful story about the daughter growing up and learning to survive with her mother in the merciless outdoors, with an unpredictable and difficult father/husband who is carrying invisible scars from his time in Vietnam.
Yeah. Somehow I don't know if
you've heard of this.
Well, maybe from last month if she picked it up, but I think I read the thing and it was there's something clicking that I read this. Somebody else may have suggested it as well. Let me share the screen, because then we've got the picture.
Yeah.
There you go.
There it is.
And so it's a bit like Simona, who's kind of can be serious. So there you go.
Yeah. She reads a lot of crime fiction usually. I think this is just general fiction. But it sounds very, I don't know, very serious, very kind of heavy, maybe. But it also sounds like it could be very beautiful. I do love Alaska.
Yeah. What it seems to give off is the vibe of the place. Where if you you know I I haven't been to Alaska. I don't know, but we've got an idea because we've maybe seen films about it. That the wide expanses of nothing and bleakness and so forth. But not to everybody's cup of tea. But for me, I would like to see that. I would like to feel that, and a sort of a vague, just like that you
Yeah,
are part of the landscape. You don't exist almost. That you just are part of the thing. But
yeah,
also backstory of it's not an easy story with a father,
yeah.
and I believe it was about the father who was older and he always liked to take chances, and that takes his family to Alaska, and then he gets ill or something like that, and so the daughter
Oh,
have to sort of like fend for herself in a way that that's the sort of the part of the story as far as I recall. So yeah, not an easy read, but it's like a real things. Part of those stories, regardless of where it's set, are also part of today's society where family troubles and what you have to deal with. So
yeah,
interesting. I think
yeah.
the point of it is that the landscape is a reflection of what's happening in the family
Of
dynamic.
course, it's always like whether it's Alaska or Iceland or New Zealand, it's always very on the nose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So again, it makes me kind of want to go and have a look and read it, and which is
Hmm.
so it's bad love. Now let's see. We've oh, I see another one of yours that you're going to be doing. Let's you've had ones that are to do with International Women's Month.
Yeah,
I
Women's
can
History Month.
talk to people about that. So I've got the Swamp Thing.
Ooh, okay.
Saga of the
Sure.
Swamp Thing. It's not Swamp Thing. This is Alan Moore. Do you know Alan Moore?
Yes, but I don't know how I know the name. Who is Alan Moore?
Interesting. That's exactly that. Alan Moore is a storyteller and author from the 80s originally, who's always been involved with graphic novels and stuff like that. As you see, this is a graphic novel.
Yeah, cool.
And dark stories, of which The Swamp Thing is one. So with Neil Gaiman, he's like in that area. And
Hmm.
he himself is actually a bit of a wizardy kind of old, yeah, fantasy kind of world, but dark fantasy. So talking of witches and wizards, quite if you look him up, he's got this big grizzly beard and looks like,
Okay.
and he's definitely got points of view about the world that are like not everybody,
Okay, great.
yeah, he's quite eigenaardig, quite
Yeah.
self, he's in his own man. British guy, I believe actually, maybe he's American, but anyway, so that's the
Oh,
name.
Jesus, he looks like Rasputin.
Sorry, what? He looks
He
like
looks like Rasputin.
Rasputin. Oh, right. What, with a nose like that? Good Lord.
No, I mean Alan Moore looks like Rasputin.
Oh, you've looked it up. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
It's gnarly,
What
isn't
a
it?
guy. Okay, anyway, continue.
You look at the picture. But his name is something like that, where you go, I think I've heard of it, but it's like, and
Yeah.
like it perforates through the whole book world of in this genre in any case. Um, And the story behind me showing you this book is that I was Flores, and he said he was on holiday last week in England, and
Right.
his girlfriend couldn't help but go to a bookshop or two, and then he showed me the picture where they bought all of these books. You're a bookseller, you go on holiday, and then you find more books to buy. Yeah, that's a book lover. Yeah, yeah.
I
We
do
know.
the same. Look, that's just how it is. Also, England has amazing bookstores, as I'm sure you know. So
So I've
you
heard.
got it.
So we found this. He had book one, so he got book two, but this is book one. So this is a series,
Yeah.
4 or 5 books, I think, or something like that. Yeah, from 1983 to 1987. There
Oh,
you go.
wow.
A British writer named Alan Moore revolutionized the American comic book, not the cookbook. Um, and so that's where he comes from. So in the 80s, kind of a grittier
Yes.
kind of comic storytelling rather than Superman and the DC world of stuff. But this is his own invention. So
Cool.
Swamp Thing, what can I say? It's about a Swamp Thing, and you just have to
Surprising.
just get into it.
I
Um,
never would have guessed.
exactly.
Oh, wow. Spoilers.
It's got a bit of an 80s kind of 90s vibe, but I just like
Yeah.
all the detail and stuff like that. It's
Yes.
Oh, and he did Watchmen, which you might have heard about.
Oh yeah,
So there you go. That's the story of Floris and the Swamp Thing.
tasty.
Over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought about what I wanted to talk about for Women's History Month, and it's a little tricky because I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I don't read a lot of historical fiction. So I was like, how do I find something that I like to talk about and that I genuinely want to recommend to people, but that I can also tie into Women's History Month? And then I came up with these two. Look
Aha.
at the beautiful books. Don't
Yeah.
they look so good together?
One and part two. That's
Wow.
what I thought about me and my ex. Oops, sorry. That jumped.
Anyway, so this is The Priory of the Orange Tree, which is actually an ABC favorite. And this is the prequel, A Day of Fallen Night, which actually came out after. I'm going to put these down because they're really heavy. They're so thick.
No,
Um,
that's so
but
nice.
they are fantasy novels. And they're like, they have sort of this medieval coded vibe. So there is like, in a sense, you could say they are historical. But they deal with a world in which history is super important, and especially the role of certain women in history. It sort of like shapes the entire world. So like, yeah, there are stories about dragons, and there's like badass, like this cult of badass fighters, and there's like, this like court with all its drama, that's all happening. And like those things are genuinely really cool. But like if you peel it all the way back, it's really about um, sort of the stories we tell and the parts of history that we hide, and how important those can turn out to be to literally save the world. And in a way, it is also about what I talked about earlier, like taking control of your own narrative and being um, sort of being in charge instead of just letting things happen to you. It's really good. They're really good. Like they're both, I think, around 800 or so pages. So it's not, yeah, it's not something that most people just read in like an afternoon, but it's really genuinely something that I recommend because it's just so good.
I would say that it's probably one of the, if not top three, definitely top 10, but best selling books of last year in the genre of science fiction
Mm.
fantasy. Um, and although I haven't read it myself, I would say that, but I have sold enough of them to know, and you probably.
Many, many. Yeah. And it's also something that I think multiple colleagues have staff choice cards for this book, which is usually like, it doesn't happen a ton that there's like five of us who all love a book so much that we go through the effort of writing staff choices for it. So that also says something, I think.
Yeah, there's a consensus within, or not consensus, but in terms of that,
Yeah.
in the shop, our little universe, it strikes each one of the people who've given it a favorite. They all have quite different tastes as well. It's not like you all.
Yeah, I mean, there's always some overlap, but there's huge differences as well. So I think it's pretty like it says something that we all like this one so much. Apparently, there's like something in it for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you have it with well, all forms. I'm thinking of music as well, but and there is being good at the specific thing you write in your,
Hmm.
and then when you get it's like 3 out of 5 stars because you can write really well in the thing you do. Um, when you go over that level, then it's like this book where it touches more people beyond the people that are interested in just horror or just science fiction fantasy or just fiction, things like
Yeah,
that.
it's just really good.
Yeah. There's apparently there's something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The writing, but also the storylines, the multiple
Yeah.
stories. And
It's very, both of these books have this very sort of complicated structure where there's multiple like point of view characters, and they're in completely different parts of the world. Most of them don't know each other. Some of them, I think, don't ever really get to know each other. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I read them, but it's this very sort of complex story that sort of keeps spiraling onward until you as a reader get to put all the puzzle pieces together and be like, oh my God, this is what happened. This is the history that they've hidden. And it's really cool.
Makes me think of what's the name of the guy now? The author David. He wrote. Oh, it was made into a film as well, and it was about the book was like the first chapter.
Oh, Cloud Atlas?
Not Atlas. Thank you very much, David Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a triangle, a pyramid sort of shape, where the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were all different storylines going forward in time, and then chapters 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever it was, were the finish at the second half of each story
Yeah.
going backwards, and that shows the cleverness or the it shows the mindset of the author that they
Yeah, just like the control that they have over the scope.
yeah the overview of the whole show, and it sounds like that's what she's done. And also like Harry Potter came to mind, where she's got like the whole storyline a bit more linear to it, perhaps, but
Yeah.
with this one that there's an overview of it, and a bit like making a cake where you keep adding ingredients and you're going to go, that's not going to work with this, and then at the end of it you go, oh right.
Oh, yeah, it all has its function and it all like every little piece leads to something in the end.
Yeah, yeah, which
And I
sometimes
was, especially when you have a book that is like 800 pages, I feel like it has to be worth it, you know, because you're going to invest so much time. Even someone like me who reads quite quickly, like 800 pages is still like hours and hours of reading, so it better be freaking worth it.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and also just to carry the thing because it's quite
Yeah,
bigger than anything else there
yeah,
is,
yeah,
really, even in a paperback form.
yeah.
Let's say what you're holding up now is the smallest form we have.
Yes,
It's not a
yeah.
paper as much as a
It's a
trade paper.
regular paperback size, but it's still such a massive book.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of the biggest ones we got. So you do get that. You do get your money's worth on that one for sure.
Yeah, yeah, because this one, especially because this one's an ABC favorite, it's only like 14.99. It's a really good deal for 800 pages. Get it?
Buy one. Wow. Okay. Oh, I've got one from Natalia, um,
Ooh,
and she doesn't always read horror, but she's getting into it because her partner's into horror, of course, Hewitt. So she come up with one that I'm going to show you the cover called "What Moves the Dead" from T. King.
oh, I know that one. I'm the horror buyer. I know stuff.
You know stuff.
Yeah, by
Now,
Kingfisher.
what
It's a really cool cover.
where is it?
It's a really good title as well. It's
Yeah, it's kind of like a nice where's me share video thingy.
Where's Michelle?
Share screen. Share this screen for me. There you go. Then you can see it.
Yeah.
Hand holding. Of course, when I've got that up, I can't read my notes. But so there you go. I'm going to go. I'm going to close this now because then I'm going to read my notes because what she said. Um, oh, these things. Can't the computer do that? I love this. A fungi-esque take on Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. I looked at fungi-esque and went, "What? You?"
What?
But she, as you said, she coined a new word. I think
Yeah, nice.
Kingfisher, the author, does a great job of describing poisonous fungi slowly taking over the ancestral home of the Usher family and the remaining family members inside. Read in one sitting. It sounds even to me, who is not a great horror fan. I don't want to get too freaked out, but it's like,
Yeah,
ooh, that sounds intriguing.
yeah. It's a really big thing as well over, I feel like the last like decade or so to have like fungi elements in horror. It's having its moment.
It's growing.
Hey,
Thank you very much. Oh, that's bad. I
we'll be
know.
here all night.
Yes, indeed. Hey, maybe we can do. We've got lots of fungus
Yeah.
fungus books that Siggy orders. Do you have a little fungus section?
I mean,
I
I think there's some fungus stuff in the nature section. Yeah.
well, Siggy's going for it in like she's got nature, but she's got like shitloads of books about fungi that people obviously can like to go and pick their own, which you have to be
Yeah.
very careful about, I think.
Yeah.
So the different effects of them, and you've got
Oh,
psychedelic.
I want to take a moment here to warn the people because there's been an increase in books that are flooding the market, especially through certain web stores that shall remain unnamed, that are written by AI, which is very bad in and of itself, but especially when it's when it comes to like cookbooks and like foraging books, be very careful. Very, very, look, you could get poisoned, basically. Just
Ah,
think about it.
AI written books about foraging. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. No.
It's just like people trying to make a quick buck, but they could legitimately kill someone with
Wow.
that. So,
Things are going to go under the radar, or yeah, you can't really take them to court or anything like that, or ban them. But yeah, as you say, dangerous as hell, or possibility of danger. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
They go on unchecked, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't think of that.
Yeah. So, just a little PSA for the people.
Yes, yes, indeed. Don't buy AI books. Problem is, you don't know if it's that. It's not. It doesn't say printed by AI, But I
No,
suppose.
but there's like you can see just basically the best, trick is to look up the author and look up the publisher and see if it's reputable.
Yeah,
And if you can, sometimes online you can get like you can read like pre-read a little section of the book and just see if it looks like something that was written by a human or not. Because there are like tells that
yeah.
you can look at. So
It's funny
just
because
something to keep in mind.
yeah, no, good point. I didn't think of that. Didn't. Yeah. Well, this one, I assume is by a real person. I assume T
I
couldn't
hope
have.
so.
So we'll go from out the point that it is. Anyway, whatever they've done, it's I kind of it's also something. What I thought you were going to say as well was that there's this what I've seen in the last 10 years is the retelling of stories with a different
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Savasha, but then retold with a fungi, as fungi. And I'm thinking, oh, that's cool. That's really, really an
I
interesting.
do like the premise. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think it's something I'd want to read personally. I think I would get too grossed out, but it sounds cool.
there you go. Yes, on the gross scale, it's like, ooh.
Yeah. Blah, blah.
Um, okay. So I've got a few books left. Have you got any books left to
I
go?
have not.
You've got none. Oh well,
No, I talked all about mine.
yeah, I'm gonna hit you with Bob recommends.
Oh, does he now?
This week, Bob recommends. Um, Bob is one of our newer members of the team, but he's been around for a while. And I went
Ooh.
up to him and I said, "Bob, could you recommend something that I can show our customers?" And he thought for a second, and because he reads a lot as well, and he picked this out just straight off, and he said, "I said, oh well, what can you call? What can you tell me about it?" He said, "Well, not a lot really. It's just but it's like, well, it must be good because he just picked it out." So, well, what can you say about it? He says so very clearly. He said, simply put, it's short. It's not very long. It's well written. Nicely written. He's
That's pretty important.
a stickler for good writing. Well written, and it's a bit weird. And I thought, well, that's good for now. That's good for me.
It's the ABC way.
It's the ABC way. So we got this one. It's in stock, except it's at my house this weekend. So if you want it, you can order it, and I'll bring it back on Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday.
How many pages does it have?
Yeah, it's almost a novella.
Yeah.
116. Does that make
Oh,
it?
wow.
Yeah.
That's a novella.
And then the last three words are "smell the ocean." I think that's also an
I do love me some smelling the ocean. I wonder what it's about, though. Bob didn't tell us.
Well, David Boyd, who is the writer. No, he's not. Who's David Boyd? Oh, he's a translator. Okay. Hiroko Oyamada. Hope I didn't batter that. Is the author of The Factory. He's won a Shinso Prize for New Writers. Oh, there you go. And oh yeah, he's. I love this. The other book he's written is called Weasels in the Attic, which I
I've heard of
almost
that
read that
title.
one before I read this one. So there you go.
Hmm.
This one says within the sprawling industrial complex, 3 employees are assigned to different departments. Um, there, each must focus on a specific task. La di da di da. As they grow accustomed to the routine, their co-workers, their lives become governed by their work. Days take on a strange logic and momentum, and little by little, the margins of reality seem to be dissolving.
Oh, that does sound weird. That sounds proper weird.
Bobby's a bit of a weirdo sometimes. He looks very normal and very quiet, but then those quiet ones can be a bit weird. So,
How to get you.
Weird Bob's Weird Book of the Week. So there you go.
Nice. Love
Uh,
it.
yeah, I like that. I like that they're all different. Well, all the stuff we've got actually that we've had to do.
Yep.
They've been quite. You've had the theme of the women's months running.
Yep.
Mine was just a jiggery pokery of seeing what people were interested in.
Yeah.
I see there's a few events we can mention.
Yeah, we're going to Facts, which is next weekend, which is like the Belgian Comic Con.
Yeah.
It's quite big. It's not quite as big as DCC in Utrecht, but it's like on a similar level.
Did you
Um,
did you do that? Did you go there last time?
yes, I've been twice. It's really nice. I actually prefer it to DCC, in
Yeah.
all honesty. I like it better. It's less just because the complex feels bigger. I don't know if it actually is, but it's less condensed. I mean, it's still very busy, obviously, but it feels a bit more manageable.
Huh.
Um, and it's a really nice atmosphere. It's really good. It's really good. I think and it's also very doable for like Dutch people who live in like Limburg and stuff to just go to Ghent. It's very, very doable with like public transportation. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's a nice little outing, and Ghent is a nice city, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's really nice actually. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, is it also because of the it's I'll start again. As you just pointed out, people from Holland can come. Holland's not that far anyway, but also you've got French people who can come, and you've got the Belgians. Is it? Do you think that that gives it a different sort of flavor? Part of the reason, or not? It's just a different vibe, just a different place.
Yeah, I think maybe. I think it's very Flemish. I think that, yeah, that's probably part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it is, of course, sort of its own little bubble, like all of these big events always are, especially if it's over multiple days, you're sort of like immersed in this world, and then like afterwards you sort of come up for air. But yeah, I like it. I like it. It's nice.
When you say that, it makes me think of films when I go and see when you go and see a film and you're in a dark room with a lot of other people and you're kind of focused on this one thing and there's no way you can look at your phone or at least you shouldn't do. I don't know what they do these days.
Yeah.
Then you come out of it having been in this pressure cooker, and maybe it's like an alternative film where it's got like
Yeah.
emotions, and you come out and you're kind of like, I need a drink, and everyone's coming out with a drink and you don't quite know what to say because you're just still in the vibe of the film.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that for 3 whole days in a huge hall with everybody focused on the same thing, yeah,
It's also just like the noise of so many people in like being among so many people, just the level of noise and stuff. It's so loud. And then when you're outside, you're like, oh, because it's not like people are shouting or anything. So it's not, and also because, we start early and then the people come in and then you work for the whole day and then you don't really realize it's like the frog in boiling water sort of analogy where it sort of just happens to you. And then at the end of the day, it gets quiet and you go outside and you feel fresh air and you're like, whoa, that was a day.
yeah, realize what you've done.
But it's fun, and especially also because I did it twice. I went twice, and it's like it's a little excursion for us as well. Because when I work at DCC, I'm just there for the day, and then I go home, and that's fine. But with this, you're like away from home for a few days, and you get to eat in restaurants, and you get to hang out with your colleagues, and like sort of
Like a sleepover as well, because you're in
it,
a hotel and it's something.
kind of, yes, it does have a little bit of that vibe. And it's like you're getting to know each other in a different way. Because usually when you're like working on the floor with somebody, it's fine, but it's very much sort of a colleague thing. And now you're like sharing meals together. And so it's fun for us as well.
Yeah, yeah. Now I remember that when you say that, it reminds me of going to Frankfurt for the book
Yeah,
club and that sort of thing. And you kind of, yeah, yeah, it's good fun indeed. Yeah.
it is. Yeah, it's good fun.
And everybody's there for the same reason. They will love what
Yeah.
they're either selling or buying, basically, because you've got all the geeks come out in full force.
That's
And
something that I also really like about BCC and about facts and about cons like that is like so many people who are sort of into that world and like the cosplay world and like the dorky nerdy stuff often are sort of made to feel like they should kind of hide that part of themselves or like maybe not talk about it as much in public. And at events like these, they can just be themselves like fully with zero shame. And that's also just really nice to see. Just, in this world that we're living in, to just have people be themselves and enjoy themselves and have a good time is great.
Yeah. When you come with your tribe, I kind of had that feeling when I get together with my singer-songwriter mates.
Yeah.
Like when I found them like 20 years ago, and it was like once a week and you'd go to an open mic, but then we all started to get to know each other. And it was like a big wad of about 40 or 50 of us songwriters who, till that point, we'd all just sat in our bedrooms with our guitars and go, la, 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 la.
Yeah, exactly. Like a bunch of dorks.
Yeah, that's it. And now we get together once every 6 months, and then and first of all I was thinking, oh, do I want to kind of re-meet these, but I walk in and it's just like it's a warm bar. It's just with people, and I don't know, you're just with your mates, you're just with your kin. It's not like you necessarily know them super well, but you all just of the same mind.
Yeah, there's sort of this unspoken acceptance that's going around, which is really nice, and understanding. You don't have to explain it because the people get it because they're doing the same thing. It's really nice.
Yeah, and then you can really geek out and say, "Oh, I'm doing this." You're there for learning things. You can hang back, whatever. But everybody's on the same planet, as it were, and that, I think in more different ways, but definitely in this way of the little, in the geek world, as it were, not negative. When you're free and open to do that.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's nice.
That's happening not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yes, April 6th and 7th, I think.
And people can just turn up to get, or do they need tickets beforehand?
I mean, yeah, there's tickets. Like there's a facts.be website. I'm sure that all the information is there.
When we say facts, we mean FACTS, not FAX.
Yes.
Yes. So that's happening there. And then the week after that, or 2 days after that, on April the 9th, in the shop in Amsterdam, we have a book signing. And that's Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda, if I'm saying it right. And they're the creators of Monstrous, which is a good selling graphic novel. Marjorie Liu I think, has also written books. But anyway, they're on Wednesday. You can find that on our event.
It's a Tuesday, isn't it? April 9th is a Tuesday?
Tuesday. Did I say Wednesday? Tuesday. Yeah.
Don't tell the people the wrong day.
No, check me out, and you need to go to, where's the page? Oh
yeah, share the page with the people.
The events, come on, here we go. More. I need to have a quicker share screen.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Yeah, it's very slow. It's me. Here you go. So we're on the staff picks page at the moment. But if we go to events page, then whoopla, you got the staff picks, which is us now. You got open mic, which is next Friday. I'm doing that. Come to the shop, or you can be on Zoom. There's a Zoom link when you click on here. Sorry, sidetracked, but there you go. And that's there. Hello. And then after that, you've got the actually. It should say about the facts on here, but it's not there. Anyway, the book signing.
It's happening whether it's on the website or not.
It certainly is. There you go. And there's Monstrous, the graphic novels, and another one from them as well. Yes. So if you like that and you want to have yours signed, or you want to come buy it and have it signed, come along and they'll sign it. That's from 3:00 in the afternoon. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Is it just like a show up whenever kind of thing? From 3 onwards, or you don't need a ticket or anything, right?
I don't think so. Come on, why is it not clicking on the thing? It's doing silly things. About the signing, they'll be signing from 3:00 until 5. We require you to purchase a minimum of one of any of the books by them. Oh, there you go. But you're also free to bring your own books. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. There'll be a limit of 4 books to be sold, to be signed, sorry. And if you've got more, what we do is we say, then you have to join the queue again and come back.
That makes sense. Otherwise people are going to turn up with like a huge sack and make everybody wait.
Exactly. Yes. No. If you do that, come early and then you can join the line again.
Yeah, you'll have time.
So that's the deal. You don't have to. It says $12.99 minimum purchase, but then most of these books are over that price.
Yeah, they're graphic novels, so they're pricey.
So they're So and you get a discount if you're a student.
Yes, bring your student card or app.
Exactly. Or show us you can drink 2 pints of lager.
You can't.
Sorry,
we can't put that on the internet, Luke.
Own it again. Sorry. So
Oh no.
it's what we used to do. No, we don't.
Yeah, exactly.
That was when I was in England drinking lots. Not
Yeah, I
no,
bet.
not good to do. And now I don't drink at all. I'm teetotal. I'm beer total. I don't like the word teetotal. It's like
Yeah, I was just like literally this week, I was thinking, where does that come from?
total tea, teetotal. I'm totally for tea. I
I
always
don't think that's what it is because it's double E, right? T total.
it is tea. Yeah, it is double D. Yeah, yeah. You're right. It's not teetotal. It should be TEA. Should be teetotal. Then it will make sense somewhat. But teetotal sounds like you're playing golf. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm going to have to ask AI to find out what that means.
We do not have to ask AI. Dictionaries exist.
Damn it. Google exists.
Anyway,
Have we finished everything?
I think so.
I
Let me
haven't.
just quickly have a look to see if I talked about all the books that I have on my little list. Yeah.
I think we've done. This is good chocolate.
God damn it. Next week or next month, you need to send me some chocolate before we go live so we can share some chocolate.
Do you like dark chocolate, 92%, or do you like milk chocolate?
I don't know. Like I've had dark chocolate that was really good. I like it when it has sort of like a fruity like note. Um, but I've also had dark chocolate that I really didn't care for.
Well, it's quite something. I mean, it's quite. I mean, 92% sounds like it's really like, oh, you get drunk on it. But um, I've had it before, and it's just like, oh, this is just so heavy and hard.
Yeah.
But this one, there are now. I think they're getting better quality ones, or I don't know what they're doing with them. But this is really nice, edible. You don't want to
Yeah,
too
yeah, yeah, yeah.
much of it. Actually, that's the thing. You can't pick out on it as much, or at least I can't. When you got milk chocolate, it's usually thicker, and you can throw a whole wad in your mouth.
Well, you put it like that.
I'm not going to go there. No, I should, but I'm not. My brain's going there, but my mouth is trying to.
Your mouth is being very good
yeah,
and
trying
decent.
as hard as to go. Don't say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think we've come to the end for this
I
month.
think so too.
I'm hoping that people have enjoyed what we've shown them. You can find all those books on our abc.nl highlights. When you scroll down to the bottom, it says highlights, and you can find ABC, the episodes of staff picks. If you've got any recommendations, you can always put them down in the thingy below. Yes, indeed.
Let us know. What are you reading or what have you been reading for Women's History Month?
Yeah, exactly. That's good. What's the subject for next month? You know that?
I don't remember, but we'll come up with something cool.
We'll be here next month, and we'll surprise you with the title of the month, what we're going to be doing, and then talk about nothing to do with it, and try and make a connection. Sounds good to me. All right then. Should we say au revoir?
I'm just gonna say bye. I don't know what you're gonna do, but like
bye. Oh, she's got.
I'm gonna be normal about it.
They've got a new version of Zoom, and it's freaking me out a bit because of some of the stuff.
Oh, mine looks the same.
But it's just like
I think.
so now I'm